Chapter 2, Section 1, Represent Relations and Functions, Part 1. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a mapping diagram, and from the mapping diagram, identify domain and range. And in a second example, I'm going to show you how to look at a mapping diagram and tell if a relation is a function or not. Okay, for example number 1, make a mapping diagram and identify the domain and range. For these types of for this example, they gave you, or the problem has a bunch of ordered pairs, and ordered pairs are points in the plane, and they have two coordinates. An x coordinate is the first coordinate, and the second coordinate, which is the y coordinate. If you're given ordered pairs and it says to make a mapping diagram, what you need to do to make a mapping diagram is draw two ovals, vertical ovals up and down, and one on the left, one on the right, like so. The one on the left, that is your domain, and the one on the right, that is your range. Okay. In the oval on the left, what you need to input or put into the domain is the first coordinate of each of the points, the x coordinate. Okay. And I usually like to order them. In this case, they're ordered nicely for me, so I have -7, 2, 3, and 8 going into the oval on the left, which is the domain. And I'm going to erase my 8 because it's kind of squiggly. 8. Okay. I got these from the first coordinate of each of the ordered pairs, or each of the points. What you do to put into the oval on the right for the range is the y coordinate, the second coordinate of each of the ordered pairs. I like to order them. -10 is the smallest, so I put -10 first. And then 4 happens twice. You just need to put it once in the range. And then the last one, 19. So I got these from the second coordinate in the ordered pairs. And then what you need to do is to create a mapping diagram, you need to map the first coordinate to the second coordinate of each of the ordered pairs. So -7 maps to, oh, my head was in the way. Okay, -7 maps to 4, 2 maps to -10, 3 also maps to 4, and 8 maps to 19. Okay, and that's how you create a mapping diagram given ordered pairs. In the second example, I'm going to show you how to tell from a mapping diagram if a relation is a function or not. The way you can tell is after you make the mapping diagram, if you cover up the range and you see only one arrow starting at each number in the domain or each element in the domain, that's a functional relationship, because what a function really is a 1-to-1 relation, or 1-to-1 relation. Okay. One thing goes into a machine, one thing comes out. That's essentially what a function is. So here's an example of a function. 1 can map to -5. 2 can also map to -5. That's okay, that's still a function. And 3 can map to 18. If you cover up, and then remember the oval on the left represents our domain, the input values to our function, and then the oval on the right represents our range, the output values to our function. If you cover up the range and you see only one arrow starting at each element in the domain, that represents a functional relationship. Now, if I know that 6 does not have an arrow pointing to it, that's okay. Not every element in the range needs to be mapped to, but every element in the domain has to have an arrow starting at it, and only one arrow starting at each element in the domain. So this one is a function, and I abbreviate function fxn. Okay, on the one on the right, I'm going to show you an example of a non-function. 3 can map to -5, 5 can map to 0. That's still a function because there's only one arrow starting from both those elements. But 9, this is where it happens, this is where it's not a function. 9 mapping to both 0 and 12, that's not a function because 9 came from our domain and it mapped to 2 elements in the range. It's like saying 9 went into some kind of machine and then out came 0 and 12. That right there is not a 1-to-1 relation. 9 is like a 1-to-2 relation, so that's not a function, so not a function. Okay, and box your answer like so. That's enough for this video. Okay, if you want to see other example problems, please look at other videos. Thank you very much.